So we'll move on to our side topic for this week, podcast, month, whatever, I don't know. And that is, we're going to talk about how we all first started role-playing, tabletop games, that type of thing, and also, if we feel like it, our best and or worst experience while doing so. So, I think let's just start with our most experienced member, Treebeard. How did you begin?
Hail the GM!
Alright. So, yeah. My very first tabletop game, strangely enough, was New World of Darkness. Like, not even any of, like, the monster games. It was just the straight-up New World of Darkness games.
The vanilla.
Humans.
No expansion, pretty much.
No expansion, just vanilla New World of Darkness. And, I played in a campaign called London Fog, which took place in Victorian England. And what we did was that we joined up with is that our characters were part of this private supernatural investigation firm that was funded by one of the nobles. And, my character was like this crusty, neckbeardy, but skinny kind of scholar dude who would carry who dressed up in a trench coat and a top hat because that's how you do in Victorian England. And, he got called in by a professor friend to help out this organization firm to help provide them with research and help investigate and look up occult lore and stuff because they need as many of those kinds of people as they can get. So I joined up with them, and what we ended up doing is that we ended up going to the house of a character who's only been known as Bernie. And Bernie was a bit of an oddball, and he was kind of the subject of investigation for this firm because he's been involved with some weird shit, including letting loose a succubus in London. So they're trying to figure out how he fits into that mess. So we broke into his house, and we walked up, and we find this, like, altar that's filled with all this really strange occult lore. And the next thing we know, I turn around, and there stands the chubby, middle-aged, semi-androgynous white dude, fucking buck naked, standing next to me with the shit-eating grin on his face, and I'm like, "You're Bernie, aren't you?" And he's like, "Yes. I've been expecting you." So, yeah, so fat naked dude who's into the occult is just giving me the biggest shit-eating grin. And he kind of taunts me, and the thing I remember the most about that is the fact that first fucking game, the first thing I see is a naked warlock.
Can only get better from there.
Yeah, I gotta say, it's probably one of the
when
better
that
things you can see.
Yeah, and the rest of it was him sort of like taunting me with forbidden knowledge because my forbidden knowledge and with granting me access to possibly greater occult power because my character's vice was pride and he thought he was better than everybody else and that he deserved to be better than everybody else. But yeah, that was my very first tabletop experience, and it was interesting because, yeah, when you end with a naked man taunting you with forbidden knowledge, that's something.
Fun times.
Fun times, yeah.
Yep, kind of magical.
So, the best, like, role-playing experience, and I have to admit, I don't have nearly as much, like, experiences as a player as I would like to, because, most of the time I'm GMing. And so, the player...
You can talk about crazy stuff we've done, or what was that your players have done as a GM?
Well, I would rather leave
done
that...
to screw us over.
I'm only an impartial arbiter. I only let things happen as they're meant to happen.
No, seriously, he's a good GM.
No,
as much as we fuck around.
he's actually
I do let you
Satan.
fuck around, but you also have to face the music.
I'm the leader of the not free world, you damned liar.
But yeah, anyway, I can't off the top of my head remember like a truly horrible player experience because I can't remember really a time where I felt like bad for what I did in a game or where something I did was truly disastrous because I was kind of savvy enough to know when I would fuck up and when I wouldn't fuck up. But the best moment that I had, this big damn hero moment, was when I was with this group and I was not this group like Hoof Hearted, like a different role-playing group that I used to meet up with more. And we were playing a game of Vampire the Requiem. And my character started off as this, like, really confused vampire that wasn't really sure how the ethics worked and was trying to sustain himself on animals, and he was kind of really lost. He didn't really know what he wanted to do as a vampire, kind of like me. I'm like, I'm not really sure how to play a vampire character. So the group did give me an idea of how to do it and how this sort of thing generally worked, and my character eventually ended up joining the Lancea Sanctum because they're basically like vampire Catholics. And the particular person that he joined them through was this Ventru vampire who... Okay, so I gotta give you an image of what this vampire looked like. The way that we were introduced to her was that we went to an abandoned church in Santa Monica, and there was this, like, statue of the Virgin Mary, but we noticed something was wrong with it. Instead of the clothes being blue, they were red. So we're like, oh, that's a weird-looking statue. And then she moves. And then she starts talking to us.
Horrifying.
And introduces herself as the Virgin of Doves. And, yeah, this was the person who my character has decided to pledge his loyalty to and learn the vampire ways from.
Sounds
And she
horrible.
also was the way that the GM introduced the concept of Golconda to the group. And in Vampire the Requiem, Golconda is this idea that vampires can eventually... It's kind of nebulous what exactly Golconda is, but it's something between becoming human again and becoming like an alpha vampire that does not suffer weaknesses against sunlight and is not completely driven by their hunger, but retains their superpowers. It's like this like ascension thing.
Yeah.
And she kind of introduced the group to the concept, and my character was like, so I'm all on board with this shit. Oh, one more thing about my character I forgot to mention was that when he was alive, he was kind of constantly sickly. Like, he was very frequently bedridden, so becoming a vampire was very confusing to him, not the least of which because he was, because it was kind of a boon to him and a curse at the same time. So nothing was really all that different. It's just his problems have changed. But at the end of it, and there was a few hints dropped throughout the game that something big was happening, something big and apocalyptic. Like, there was actually a time where the group went up to this, we encountered this group of Ordo Dracul vampires. They're basically vampires that have a philosophy based on Dracula. And we saw them resurrect Bela Lugosi.
As in the actor who died making Plan 9 from Outer Space?
The very same.
God, that's tragic.
And while they were resurrecting him, there was like a rain of toads. Like frogs rained from the sky.
That's normal.
Yeah, totally. And at the end of this campaign, what ended up happening is that we encountered an angel that called itself Raphael. And I'm not sure how it's spelled. That was how I heard it pronounced. So, Raphael says that it's come to deliver judgment, and my character is like, well, and we're trying to like negotiate with it because this thing's a fucking angel. It's got like, this thing could probably just burn us alive by looking at us funny. So we're like, okay, fighting it isn't really an option. So we start trying to like negotiate with it, and I start talking to it, and I'm okay. Hey, we realize that you're here to bring judgment to the wicked, but there are some of us that have adhered to what your god wants. And she's like, and the angel is befuddled by the concept of some because it's an angel. It thinks in like terms of, it's like a machine. It thinks in terms of absolutes. You either
like
are or
Sith?
aren't. And she goes, some, and is confused by it. But then I explained but then my character explains that there are some people who do deserve judgment, but some who deserve to be given another chance. At the end of the campaign, we're getting chased, and we end up going into a tunnel in a sewer, because that's the way you do in Los Angeles. And, we're pursued by these, like, crazy psychotic vampires, and then all of a sudden, we see this, like, white flame burst through the tunnel and engulf just the psychotic vampires and left us alone. And behind the fire, we hear this, like, chuckle that goes, some.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm like, I convinced an angel not to bring about the apocalypse.
That's
Kind of a big deal.
terrifying.
So you rolled the perfect 38 is what you're saying.
Yeah, clearly.
It honestly, it was just, I didn't even roll for that. It was just role playing, and the GM was okay with it. He was like,
Good.
yeah, that was my best experience as a player. I don't have many of them, but that one holds a special place in my heart.
Aww.
Where I
Alright.
convinced an angel that some people are okay.
It's magical. So, I guess...
Have I mentioned I was a blood-sucking monster?
Yeah, you
Yeah, I
did.
feel like angels would have problems with vampires for
Yeah.
at least 3 different reasons.
Speaking of blood-sucking monsters, TG.
What? No, I'm hosting this thing. Fuck you.
TG
No,
gets to
but it's
say-
perfect.
Yeah, TG gets to choose. Nice
Yeah.
choice.
Okay.
It's perfect, though.
I'm
It's a perfect
going
transition.
to jump from the person with the most experience down to the newest role player of the group. So, Greg Dig.
Wait, Greg's the newest? I thought I
No,
was.
that
I feel
would-
like you're both.
Greg's had
equal.
more because,
Have I?
I
because-
think...
No,
I think
Scott's
the
been
game
in games before Greg was.
Yeah, to my
Yeah,
knowledge.
because I know that I think the role-playing is Magic game that I ran was, like, one of your first.
For Scott?
No,
No, for you.
I wasn't in role-playing as Magic.
No, he's right,
Fuck,
Greg
you
wasn't.
weren't?
No.
Greg was not.
That was, I
Why
joined
do I
right
keep
after that. I
confusing
was...
who's in that game? God.
Yeah, I feel like Greg and Scott
It's
started
probably
at the same time
me.
because they both started with Geist, I think. But
Yeah.
the Scott has been in more things because Greg's busy with like school and work and shit.
Yeah, I didn't do Promethean and I didn't do the
Oh,
Yeah,
Bishop
dude.
as Magic
fucking
one.
Promethean.
Yeah, he didn't do role playing as Magic, and he didn't do Changeling.
I don't
so-
care. We're talking about Promethean, DG.
I know Promethean was magical. So, but Greg, tell us your stories.
Okay, yeah, so to start off, these guys got me into RPing, Treebeard specifically, I think? I don't exactly
I
remember.
probably did, yeah.
I think you guys were just talking about it, and I think, Treebeard, I think you asked me, do you want in? And I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll try it out, I'm game. And, yeah, the first one was Geist, unless I'm really blanking, but,
Oh yeah, Geist was it.
in Geist, I played essentially the Manimal, if he was a total idiot, and also Steve Irwin.
Madam.
And,
Animal roar.
essentially, he was a sin eater, which essentially means he was brought back from the dead because he made a deal with a spirit.
They pretty much died, but
Pet
got that.
ghost. Yeah, he died but got better because he got his backstory was that he was mauled at the zoo working with killed koala bears.
Yeah, killed koala
Not
bears.
killer, killed
Koala
because
bears.
typos. And yeah, so he got a little messed up, but he got out of it because of a certain Native American chief Thundergiggle / Thunder Eagle was his actual name.
Thundergiggle.
But once something sticks, you might as well just say it's Thundergiggle. And yeah, he was he brought him
Sounds
back.
like a nudist colony.
Yeah. And so the first session I can remember with his name was Stefan Irvine. The first part being a reference to Steve Irwin, so Steve. And, well, technically the whole name is, but we went with Irvine because Orange County, it's a city. Yeah. And yeah.
Orange County is not a city. It's in the name.
Irvine's a city. You know what I mean.
No,
Stop
No, I don't.
harassing me.
I feel like being pedantic.
But so yeah, Irvine's a city in Orange County. That's where I live. Not Irvine specifically. This has gone on too long and I'm rambling. Anyway, so first session. If I remember correctly, we all lived in this apartment building. And we all moved in, and we didn't know each other, and there was this asshole who fiddled on the roof, and no one liked him at first.
Whoa, hey, everyone liked me right
At
away.
first.
I'm the best.
You knocked the
Everyone loved
tinfoil
me.
off the windows.
And, yeah, essentially, we all lived in this apartment, and we got contacted to, help get rid of a vampire, I believe, by a certain someone whose name I'm blanking on. Who was it? Calvin's character? Or who was the
No, it was the one Hispanic dude.
Ted.
Hispanic dude?
Yeah, Ted Sanchez.
Totally
Ted
Hispanic.
Sanchez.
Ted
Yeah,
Sanchez.
Ted
Not Ted
Sanchez.
Cruz. Ted Sanchez. Yeah, so he wanted us to go deal with this vampire, and we all went, sure, we'll do that.
Oh, yay, my first stupidity is in this story.
And yeah, so part of his character was that he really loved animals. He kept them in his apartment.
He was a hoarder.
He was, and he had a thing for naming animals after athletes. There was Jay Cutler the rabbit, but
there was Russell Wilson.
yeah, Jay
Russell
Cutler was
Wilson.
eaten by Russell Wilson the rattlesnake. And lest we not forget Temu Solani the penguin, who actually turned out to be a duck. Because that was hard to tell, apparently. But, yeah, on this adventure, Stefan took Temu Solani to just see what he could do. And, you know, along the way we said, you know, we need to stop by the Home Depot for supplies, because reasons that I can't remember.
Because
And,
you were dealing with a vampire and you wanted to get steaks.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah.
this story.
And then you misunderstood the assignment.
Yeah, and we'll get to that.
Misunderstood the assignment.
So yeah, we stopped at this Home Depot, and we got my penguin a special Home Depot apron, because that's just the kind of guy Stefan was.
No, it was a safety vest.
Well,
No,
apron, safety vest, it's, you know,
Yeah, that.
the thing they
Looks
wear at
so
Home
bad.
Depot. And so we go, and we meet this vampire, and the deal's about to go down, we're acting all normal. Things are going according to plan, then, one of our,
Me.
yeah, one of our cast members, he took the, acquiring steaks the wrong way, and decided to chuck meat steaks, as in, like, the kind you would eat, at the vampire.
They were uncooked.
Uncooked meat steaks, yep. And it just, he chucks it, and it lands right on the guy's face. He's not too happy. I mean, I don't think most people would like raw steak thrown at their face. And,
It would be more shocking.
yeah,
that-
essentially things go to shit in that session, and, we only get a little bit of money because essentially this vampire who goes by Hieronymus, and he plays into stuff later on, but I won't go into that. He feels pity on us, and he's just like, here, take the money. Just, I'm gonna go now. You guys, you figure out what you're gonna do. And, during this exchange, Stefan's penguin steals money
from the Fiddler on the Roof.
from the Fiddler on the Roof, which, You might think, oh, it's a bad night for the Fiddler on the Roof, but it only gets worse because we decide to just start fuck with him. You know, we fuck with him even more, and we say, you know, on the ride home, let's see if you live up to your name. So we're gonna tie you to the roof of our van, and you can enjoy the whole ride home.
It really wasn't pleasant.
And to my knowledge, that was the first session of Geist, and it was silly, to say the least. But
oh yeah, this was the game that had I just found it on Out of Context D&D. What was it? Like Dead Chick, Stefan Irvine, Magic School Bus, Cougar,
Geist was the game where that happened. Yeah.
And the other one, which I just found. Okay, Jim, go get some porn and some booze. Don't show it to me, and don't ask why.
Yeah.
I will play that when we get to me.
Yeah, so Geist was silly, but the best RP moment, I've done it for about 2 years now. That seems about right. And this was the more recent one. It happened this year. We did a campaign for Hunter the Vigil. Is that correct? Yeah. And essentially, in this RP, my character was JonTron.
Not someone representing JonTron.
No.
Literally JonTron.
Literally JonTron as a secret paranormal agent. It was that kind of a campaign. And,
basically, all of our campaigns are that.
Yeah. And I'm trying to remember who else was also in this campaign. I know Dale was.
Yeah, Dale was in it.
What were all your characters?
Justice was the
You were
Park
DJ the
Ranger.
werewolf.
I was the werewolf that fucked the mage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was the Iron Fist.
Iron Fist, that's right.
Yes.
Calvin was the
punching
janitor.
vampires.
And
I punched a lot of vampires.
Calvin was Drago Janitor, not an actual dragon. Or a janitor. Or no, he was an actual janitor.
He was an actual janitor.
His name was Xavier, but you always called him the janitor.
Yeah, he was just the janitor.
Okay. So I was thinking of another dragon janitor. That's something entirely different.
That was my role-playing magic game.
That was also D&D.
See, I've heard about it. I've heard about that game. Was not in it. But, yeah. So, eventually, a lot of crazy shit happens in that RP. One of which being that, we convinced Dale to, use willpower to fuck a changeling hard.
Yes!
Because he failed at fucking it the first time, and we're just like, oh, that's a shame,
Thank you for using one of my best moments!
Mm-hmm. And I look at him and say, Scott, you should use willpower.
So Chubert's like, you know what? I'm gonna use a willpower. You're gonna do this.
I think I told you to use willpower, to my memory.
You're gonna fuck her until she can't walk right, so...
Yeah.
And actually, I think that's what he ended up doing.
Yeah. And, during this, fucking, he disguised as Aaron Hansen, aka Ego Raptor, because we're really silly. But, yeah, that's one of the crazy things that happened. There's also the beaver, the rogue beaver.
Yeah.
And how it flooded
beaver.
A huge portion
I serve the rogue beaver.
Yeah.
And no, it is not a Washingtonian offshoot of Pussy Riot.
Yeah, it's actually a giant beaver spirit. Another crazy thing that happens, I'll wind this down to the end. This person who we've been hanging out with and helping out, he went by the name Adam Savine.
Adam Levine.
But not Adam Levine, not from Maroon 5.
Maroon 5.
But we call him Maroon 5.
Yeah, we called him Maroon 5.
He essentially, during the this werewolf attack involving the rogue beaver, he ends up losing one of his legs, to our knowledge. And we're like, oh no, this is a shame. He got pulled into the bush, right? The shrub.
He got pulled into the spirit world. My character went after him because she fucked him, and in werewolf terms, that means we're married.
Yeah.
Oh no, he didn't go to the hedge. He went to the shadow realm.
Yeah.
And so he gets fucked up at some point. And essentially, we acquired this book. It was... what's the name of the book?
The Paranomina.
Yeah.
Yes, everyone get it out of your system.
Paranomina. Do 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 do.
God damn it.
Paranomina. Do do. Paranomina is Latin for true names.
Yes, but it's this book that has everyone's name in it. It's quite a thing you don't want getting out to the public. It's, or especially in the hands of a powerful mage. which is what Adam Levine turned out being. After
He
all
was
this,
he was called Asthma Dumbass.
yeah, he was Asthma Dumbass, or Asmodeus, his actual name, but he betrayed us, and we were pretty mad, and so essentially we go after him, and so essentially we go to hell, yes, literally hell, to find this guy. And we face our worst fears. JonTron's is Banjo and Kazooie, Nuts and Bolts, because what else would it be? And essentially, we eventually find him, and he's pretty much kicking our ass. We can't find a way to beat him. He's deflecting all our attacks, making a mockery of us, and we're just not sure what to do. And Treebeard points out that like you guys gotta find a way to essentially catch him off his groove, get him in a way that he doesn't expect.
I think that was my character, because my character is part of a long witch hunting family, and they just fall into that category.
Yeah, and this was something I dropped as a hint before. The way you beat mages is that you have to surprise them.
And so I start thinking, and I'm like, I got it. So I walk up to this fucker, and he's all like, what the fuck are you doing? And saying nothing, I just give him a big smooch on the lips.
Yeah.
Tongue and all.
Yep.
And then
I threw a werewolf at him.
Oh yeah, it catches him off guard. You throw a werewolf at him.
In werewolf form with, like, a back that is, like, snapped in half.
Yeah.
And then I shoot him with, like, the Mjolnir cannon, which is, like, this big fucking laser gun, and we essentially fucking murder him.
Scott and Calvin unload their normal guns into him, and then I punch his head off.
Yeah, and then his, just to top it all off, his spirit pops out. And then we also send that deeper into hell, because, just to be safe.
Yeah, you exorcise him and he gets sucked into the underworld.
Yeah. And that was my most crazy experience. It was something. And JonTron kissing mages is now a thing, and he is now currently in one of our ongoing RP sessions.
Which I'm writing and Treebeard's running, and I need to work on that, because the next one's gonna be fun!
It's a lot of fun. And that's essentially my experience. I'm glad they dragged me into RPing, as silly and stupid as it gets sometimes. That's what makes it fun for me, at least. So, yeah, that's what I gotta say.
Alright, well, since we're going, I'm bouncing around in order of experience, I guess we'll go to the person with the, like, middle-of-the-road experience here, which I'm pretty sure is me. I started role-playing in high school, I think. A couple of my friends played D&D 3.5, and they dragged me into a game of it, and they were like, yeah, it's super fun, like, you do, like, nerdy shit and are pretty creative and stuff, come play with us. And I did! That was a fun game. I liked 3.5. I didn't play much of 3.5 because I started playing, like, right before 4th came out, and then we all kind of moved on to 4th edition. But, yeah, so I've been role-playing for a few years, and, man, a lot of crazy shit has happened. I generally prefer to be a player. Sometimes I run games. I don't like to run games that are, like, very mechanics heavy, because...
You're lazy?
No, because I'm much better at, like, just rolling with shit as it happens than coming up with a huge plan and, like, having to go through all the little mechanical things. So that's why...
D&D.
Yeah, no, it gets, like, super bogged down, and I'm just like, oh, God. So that's why I run, like, Everyone is John, and I'm running the Pokemon thing now, which I have a plan for the campaign, and I have notes and everything, but, like, everything that actually happens is super just, like, off the cuff. Like, hey, now roll some dice, I guess. That's a thing. So yeah, that's the type of stuff I like to run. But playing games, I really like having silly characters that I play straight, kind of. like, sometimes I'll keep playing them silly, but I like to give them a really silly backstory and then play it straight. Like, I played the Fiddler on the Roof, which I was intending on playing very silly, but I became the straight man of the group because everyone else was crazier.
And we'll get to that when Scott.
Yeah,
yeah, I don't think I can even talk about anything, guys, since Scott's here. Like, you take the cake.
Yeah, but so I've had a lot of moments that were really good and really bad. More good than bad, definitely. I feel like my worst experience wasn't even related to like the campaign itself. It was just one of the people who I was playing with. It was a D&D campaign. A friend of mine was DMing, and it was me, two mutual friends, and one of the DM's friends. And the DM's friend who was there was, so he was we got there the first day and we were like making our characters because we decided, because a couple of people were new, we would like collaborate on making characters and stuff. So it's like we make our characters, it takes probably like 2.5 hours to make them, with like helping the new people through it. And we start the game, and we're all in this tavern, you know, because that's how you start every D&D game. Every D&D campaign starts in a tavern, and we're all talking, and the DM is like, all right, you're all here. What do you do? So like I look around, I see the other people in the tavern. I talk to some of the other players, and we're all just like, man, where is I should change his name. Where is Alex's character? And the DM's like, oh yeah, Alex, where's your character? And he's like, oh, I'm sitting at the tavern. And the DM's like, all right, what's your character look like? And he's like, oh, I don't know. And then for the next like hour of game, he's just slowly coming up with his character, like how they look, and like throwing it in randomly and just being like, oh yeah, I'm wearing like a shirt like this, and it's just, oh my god, that was painful. It was really painful to do that. But my best moment, it's hard to choose, so I'm just going to go with the most recent best moment. Because it was pretty fantastic. This group here, all these guys, these radical fellows, we've played a bunch of different New World of Darkness stuff, so we were like, let's have a big crossover game. You could be, you know, whatever supernatural you want.
This moment, okay.
And so everyone's planning their characters, and Treebeard is like, yeah, so you could just come up with your thing. You don't need to tell each other what you're doing. And I'm like, all right. So I start making my character, and I have a couple different ideas. So I come up with, I'm going through them, and I'm like, I like this one. This one's all right. This is okay. I really like this one. And the one that I really liked was a vampire. And when we were going through, like, Drew was going through, like, what we could be, and he was like,
oh, yeah.
you could be all of these things. This one, he was like, no one would get along with a Promethean, so you shouldn't be a Promethean.
Oh, my stipulation was that you could be anything that was originally a human.
Oh, okay, that's what it was. Alright, so, yeah, so, like, Promethean couldn't be in there, what's it called?
No scions.
No scions. Prometheans were fair game because they are originally human.
Well, scions aren't part of New World of Darkness.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not. I just fucked that up for my game, which I will get to later.
Yeah, and then, we were like, alright, well, being a hunter would be really dumb because you wouldn't get along with anyone. And being a vampire would be stupid because, you can only go around at night and there's all the dumb political shit, and it would just be a huge pain to be a vampire. So no one's gonna play a vampire. I played a vampire! And, I had this whole character, my character was, a cat burglar who, was this backstory wasn't actually ever like given to anyone. I don't think even I might have given it to Treebeard, but the backstory is that she was doing a normal job. Like she broke into a big corporate building and was stealing shit there, and while she was on the job, someone else showed up, and that person was a vampire. And they embraced her. That's not a sexual thing, that's the term for turning someone into a vampire.
Although it can be sexual, and very often it is. And TG, you did tell me this backstory.
I did, okay. So, that's how she turned. But she's not a normal vampire, because in vampire there are these things called bloodlines, which are more specific things for your vampire. I forget what are the clans? That's what they're called, right? The different groups.
Clans are the vampire races, and covenants are the vampire factions.
Yeah, so...
And a bloodline is like a vampire subrace.
Yeah, so all the different clans have bloodlines, and not everyone chooses a bloodline because you don't have to, and bloodlines will give you benefits, or they might have drawbacks, and they're just ways to make your character more specific. And I was reading through different stuff, and I found this bloodline that was like, you don't have fangs. I was like, that's weird. And it's like, none of the other vampires really like this bloodline. And I was like, oh, okay. So I'm just seeing all this stuff, and it's a really cool bloodline, because essentially what they do is, because they still need to drink blood to survive and such, instead of biting people, since they have no fangs, they develop the ability to turn their skin into needles so that they can suck out blood that way. The downside is that they can't do the whole vampire numbing the pain, vampgasm thing. So it hurts like shit when they do it to someone. And so this is the character I made. This vampire burglar chick, and it's rad. I really like the character. So we start the game, and Treebird has like a private session with each of us before the game, showing how we got to the area where the campaign is taking place, and like why we're all there. And so everyone, I guess. Actually, my character is hired to steal this book, I think it was. She's not given, like, any specific information about it. She's just told, I think she was told it's something related to mages. I don't even remember what she was specifically told. But she was hired to go steal it for a shitload of money. That's honestly probably being pretty conservative on the amount of money. But so she goes, Scott and Greg's characters are mages, and they're sent to get this thing too because it's dangerous or whatever.
We're the mages in black.
Yeah, they have. I don't think they've actually told us specifically why they were sent, but they were sent to get it.
Mage business.
Duster's character it's her job to keep the thing safe where it is. And so, I head to like a bar in the town, and I happen to notice I there, and I find out some information about it. So I send my ghoul, which is, like vampire servant, human person, to go check it out. And she does. And when she comes back, she says that there's some guys there breaking into the place. And I'm like, all right, I guess I'll go check it out. So I head over there, and we're doing this whole thing in Skype. So the two mages break in, and that makes Duster's character show up and start shouting at them and like telling them to get the fuck out of the house. And so while they're having this loud argument in Skype, I'm just messaging Treebeard in chat, and I'm going, all right, so I'm gonna sneak into the house and go looking for the book. Oh, all right. I rolled this many successes. Oh, I found a study. Awesome. I'm gonna explore. Oh, there's a secret compartment in this drawer. Let me just open it. Oh, hey, here's the book. I'm just gonna leave. So, while these idiots are arguing loudly about whether the book should stay where it is or not, I've already stolen it. And now Scott, being a time mage, has the ability to look into the future and see shit and ask questions. And so he's like, I'm gonna do that. So where in this house is the book? And Treebeard just goes, it's not in the house. And Scott's like, oh, is it on the ground?
Yeah.
No, it's not. And he's like, where is it? And he's like, it's in a bag. Also, you hear a car engine start.
We got punked.
Yeah, they got fucked by...
And I think what you neglected to mention was that my character in all this fuckery is a changeling.
Yeah, Dusty's character is a changeling. The fucking weirdest changeling.
The character
right.
that I'm using in this podcast is the one that I'm playing in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so, I just drive off, because I'm supposed to meet the person to sell this book to them. So I drive off. Scott and Greg follow after me in their car, and Scott uses his time powers again to like find out about who the fuck stole this book. So he's like, all right, so who's in this? Who's in this car? And True's just like, oh, there's two women in the car, and Scott's like, how well defended are they? And Druid's like, oh, they have some, like, sidearms in the car to protect themselves. Also, one of them is a supernatural of some sort. And Scott's like, oh, what kind of supernatural are they? And Druid just private messages him the answer. And Scott's like, oh, that just raises more questions. And that's how it was revealed that I was a vampire all along.
It was like, oh, wait, what?
Yeah, no, everyone was so blindsided by the fact that I chose to play a vampire, which was amazing. And that's the best role-playing story I have from recent memory. I have many others from... You know, I make lots of rad characters. Like, I had the Iron Fist, I had the Fiddler.
You had the lawyer, the corrupt lawyer.
Yeah, I had the crooked lawyer.
You know what we didn't talk about, TG?
What?
Everyone is John.
Yeah,
just explain briefly what...
Okay, let me take a drink first, because my throat's getting dry.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so... Everyone is John is a really freeform game. I feel like everyone I've ever seen or heard play it plays it slightly differently, because the rules are very scarce. It's... The basic rules are, you are playing John. John is a guy who, according to the rules, lives in Minneapolis. And, he has a couple, mental issues. One, he has a dissociative identity disorder. Every one of the players is a different one of John's identities, and they each take turns controlling him and trying to accomplish a specific goal they have. And, another problem John has is that he's narcoleptic, so he'll just randomly fall asleep if he gets too bored doing something. That never really comes up in the games I run because I play with crazy people.
Yeah.
But like the other things that along with the goal you get abilities, and I feel like in most games these abilities are more like actual things a human would be capable of, like persuasion or like speed reading or
making a damn
like
good cup of coffee.
Yeah, making a damn good cup of coffee. That's from another group's game I GM'd for that game. But yeah, so in my games, I don't have that requirement. It doesn't have to be humanly possible. I let people have their abilities be whatever they want.
You can turn into 50-foot tall Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking about tall version of anything, and I'm trying to think back of what some of mine. I think one of them was flap your arms at the speed of a hummingbird to achieve flight.
Yeah, no, that was one of yours.
And there was what was the one that like it was you liked it for some weird reason?
I don't remember. God, I'd have to. Oh, I probably don't even have records of most of them.
Yeah, although that gets to the goals, so we can talk about.
Yeah, so the goals can also be pretty much anything, and they're rated on a difficulty scale from 1 to 3, 3 being the hardest, 1 being the easiest, and that's how many points you get each time you accomplish it. And the point of the game is to accomplish a goal as much as possible and score the most points. And so the goals, I have had some fantastically strange goals in my time GMing this game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna break in here and just say the ones that I remember specifically are I think Scott had just make a bowl of cereal with milk was one, and it just went catastrophically wrong every time.
That's a classic.
It went fantastically awful.
Let's see. My personal favorite from all the games that we played is one of Treebeard's, which was discredit a performance artist.
Yeah.
I think the first time I played this, my goal was to climb people as if they were giants in Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah, that was a thing.
And the last one I played was something along the lines of convince people to buy insurance against the sentient machine uprising.
Yeah, no, they're great. My other group tends to go, if you can believe it, more off the walls. I know, based on the things you just heard, that's hard to believe, but...
Yeah,
I gotta know.
The most glorious one, the one I always bring up, is one of my friends, he handed me his piece of paper with his abilities and his goal on it, and he started with just the abilities, and I was like, alright, I'll accept both of these, and then he took it back, wrote down his goal, and just handed it back, and just watched my face the entire time as I read it. As I flipped open the folded piece of paper and read, "Fuck money, get bitches."
That's right.
Not fuck bitches, get money. Fuck money, get bitches.
I recall that he succeeded.
He succeeded multiple times. That was the same game that had the teenage pregnant dragon in it, by the way. That's a whole other story.
In the closet, right?
Yeah, it was in a closet. It was a teenage pregnant dragon. But he at one point stole some, or the group had bought and sold some stuff, so he had some change in his wallet, and so he rounded up a bunch of dogs, female dogs specifically. He was just holding them by their leashes outside on the street. Then he just pulled a couple of quarters out of his wallet, dropped his pants, and just started going to town with the 2 quarters. And that's how he fucked money, got bitches.
Bravo.
You never, your version of hell. Please just very briefly.
Oh god, yeah. I took this group to hell one time.
I think it was Scott's goal was make a portal to hell, and he succeeded.
Yeah, so the group ended up in hell, and when they got there, they were welcomed by a very friendly tour guide, because, it wasn't John's time yet. So the guide was just like, oh, let me show you around. And so, there were many places they went. I can't remember all of them, but...
There's slightly out-of-tune guitar.
Yeah,
Slightly out-of-tune instruments.
Yeah,
I think this is the one I sat out.
they were being herded along to I forget what they were trying to get to, but they were told that the thing they were trying to get to was past the room of slightly out of tune. Oh no, past the room of very out of tune instruments, which was just past the room of slightly out of tune instruments. But along the way, they passed the pit of falling, which is it was a room where people just kept falling in constantly. Just this huge pit in the ground. Then there was the fall pit, which was just full of leaves. Just tons of leaves.
Oh.
Then I think everyone's favorites was just this hallway. It was the room of sandwiches with slightly too much mayo. Then the room of sandwiches with slightly too little mayo. Then a room just labeled mayo. Then the room with a sandwich that looks totally perfect, but then you bite into it and realize that it's turkey when you ask for roast beef.
Yes, that is the best depiction of hell that I've ever seen.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. If I ever take any role-playing group to hell in anything, it's going to be that hell.
Well, I think we did that.
God, it's so great. I just love it. It's the best hell. And so yeah, that's my role-playing stuff. I like to do silly things. I didn't even mention Merriam-Webster, but that's a whole other adventure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess next.
Oh yeah, it's past your bedtime, DG.
Shush, face.
Should I tuck you in?
Shush.
Good night, Moon.
No,
Here,
stop.
you gotta give him some apple juice and snacks. Before
Shut the fuck up, Dusty.
Don't forget
Talk about role-playing.
Don't forget to make the airplane noises.
Duster, talk about role-playing.
Okay.
Aw, your pony nightlight is so adorable.
You want some cheese?
Alright, so, I started role-playing in high school, with a friend of mine that, again, we literally played in his basement. And our group this was D&D 3.5, and my first character was a rogue tiefling that was like some sort of furry type thing, because I like furry type things. But I was a really big fucking weeaboo, so it was just destined for failure. And I played with, this kind of ties into the worst moment, not because it was genuinely bad, but because we feel like horrible people for still doing it. So our group was made up of, me, like, one of my friends that I introduced to this group and they accepted her. Barkman, why are you looking at me? This asshole that whenever he didn't get his way, he would just, like, pout and go play the Xbox for a while. And then this girl who was not the brightest crayon in the box, and we just felt bad for her. But eventually our pity ran out, so we were going to kick her out of the group. And, I'm sorry, Gatsby, don't lick me, bud. Don't lick me. We were gonna kick her out of the group. And she had some sort of, like, celestial winged elf-type bullshit. And, so we kicked her out, and now we had this character. And, like, okay, so, what are we gonna do with the character? And DM's just like, well, I think you should deal with it in-game, like, just to keep the flow of the story going. We're like, okay, fine. Me being, the demon thing goes, is there a black market around? He's like, yeah, I guess. Why? We're gonna sell her off into prostitution.
Oh my god.
God.
Wow.
Wow.
And we didn't need money for the rest of the campaign, and the GM regretted letting me do that the entire time.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, I'm such a shitlord for doing that. I more recently have been doing New World of Darkness with Treebeard, but my first New World of Darkness was Second Sight, which wasn't that good, quite frankly. Like, I think only one person actually messed with the, like, psychic stuff that's in Second Sight. That's, like, the whole point of it. Everyone else just kind of dicked around. But it did involve making one person's character. He was out, like, doing finals or something, and so we made his character make out with an NPC, and we would all make subtle hints to it, but we were all sworn to secrecy. Nobody was allowed to tell him that this happened. So whenever we'd make a vague reference and giggle about it, he'd just sit there in, like, complete confusion. So those are pretty good, but I would have to say the crowning moment as a player, not as GM, but as a player, was in Promethean. I was playing the Tasmanian Tiger, the extinct Tasmanian Tiger, put back together, stitched up, brought back to life, traveling around with a golem and a Frankenstein in a car. And my character was being shipped from Tasmania to Long Beach, which would then be shipped to Pennsylvania as part of cloning research. Well, 3 months out to sea with a creature whose aura drives people crazy progressively as time goes on, the ship ran aground and the crew was mysteriously insane. Strangest thing. So they put out an APB for my character trying to find this thing because it's invaluable to science, and they pull over the car with the Frankenstein, the golem, and the Tasmanian Tiger. So the other guys are getting arrested. My character has the power to squish into small spaces and has squished into the glove compartment. And the other guys are getting arrested. And my character decides something needs to be done, and he's already feeling the effects of crazy. Just slithers out of the glove compartment, looks this guy in the eyes, and activates hypnosis. Or it was like a hypnotic suggestion, something like that. And convinces him that the voices that he's hearing, which suspiciously sounds like Richard Nixon, is actually him. He is speaking to the officer, and that by arresting these people, he is impeding America because they are off to fight communism. And if he wants to help communism, sure, he can go ahead and arrest those officers. But if he wants to be a true-blooded American, he's going to let them go, forget this ever happened, and pull off the APB.
You know what the sad part is? You played that off just because the voice that I did just defaulted to Richard Nixon.
Yeah, pretty much. And so I had to roll to convince him that this was all true, and succeeded. Wildly. He immediately just snaps up, takes off the cuffs, and runs back to his car, cancels the APB for the entire country, and just drives off.
The communist chupacabra!
And the entire time they were calling my character the communist chupacabra, because every time they would camp out under a bridge, all the homeless people would call her a communist chupacabra. They also suspiciously sound like the cast from King of the Hill.
It's a communist chupacabra!
But that was the best. Let's get to the worst. And I'm using as much vagaries as possible for this story. This is when I was running a game. So I was running a game. I was running Role Playing is Magic, which is a tabletop pony game. It's pretty foolproof. I mean, later on it got a little more complicated. I was playing with the first edition. That was still pretty good. Go play it if you want. I don't like the second one because it gets all bullshitty. So we had several people in the group. Everybody except for Greg was in this group. And then we had one player who we'll call Rick. I don't know. His name is Rick.
Okay.
And Rick had no idea what the fuck he was doing. Let's just be honest. He had no idea what the fuck he was doing. And when making a character, he started saying, like, oh, I want my character to have multiple personality disorder. I'm the type of GM who's very merciful. If you prove that you've done your homework, and you won't be, outrageously offensive with it, and you're willing to accept all the consequences in-game that come with your choice, you could do whatever the hell you want. You could have a character that identifies as the Washington Monument and is sexually married to the Berlin Wall for all I care. If you can justify it and accept the insanity, then do it. So when it's like, oh, I want my character to have multiple personality disorder, I'm like, okay, have you looked up multiple personality disorder? Do you know what that entails? And of course, no, the fuck he doesn't. But eventually I figured out that he seems to think that having a Hannah Montana alter ego is the same thing as multiple personality disorder. And, it took a little bit of me going, no, having a secret alter ego like Batman and Hannah Montana is not like multiple personality disorder. That's a very different thing. So, but at the end of this character creation jam, what we have established is that, his character is a Pegasus, and it's really super nice. And that's it. And so I was like, okay, so just you go home and you workshop this shit. It's like, yeah, fine. So he brings it back. He's like, I want to play something different. We already started the game. What do you want to do? I want to play a zebra. That requires rewriting everything. No. Oh, okay. So go back to him about his character. It's like, so do you have a character? We're 2 games into this. I haven't worked on my character. Why? Because you told me I could change it. No. So Treebeard is sensing that I'm getting really frustrated with this, and they will also, these people will attest that I'm a little too forgiving.
You are way too forgiving.
I'm really forgiving. So I was getting slightly frustrated at this point, and I offered some prompts, and Treebeard offered some prompts to help out with this. And I was like, okay, so next game, you're gonna have a character, and if you don't, you're not gonna have a specific arc. Like, that is just out the table. I was structuring it like Friendship is Magic, where each character has, like, a specific episode tailored to them where they learn something new. And I was like, if we don't have a character, then predictably we can't do a character-based episode, so that's just not gonna happen. Like, okay, cool. So the next game, he just doesn't show up. He just flat out does not fucking show up. Offers no excuse, offers no explanation, even after the game is over, just disappeared and only showed up for the next game. And I asked, do you have a character? Kinda. In your language, that means no. Kinda in character creation means no. Let's just put that out there. And he has done fuck nothing with all the help that we have given, me and Treebeard had given Rick, and now he's bitching that we need to help him more. And I just go, look, you don't have anything? Cool. That just means that if you don't come next game with something, I'm just gonna kick you out. Just plain and simple. So the next game, he doesn't show up. Again. And I follow up with my threat. I'm like, okay, you're out. And I'm not even kidding. Like, this guy had the most impeccable timing in terms of this, in terms of the game that we kicked him out of. The last game that he was ostensibly in, he shows up not even 10 seconds after we hang up the call and goes, hey guys, what's going on? And I go, we finished. And I changed the title of the chat group to the next session. Oh, so it got delayed? No, we finished. And after that, I quietly removed him from the group and stopped inviting Rick, because Rick could not get his shit together. And Treebeard taught me the importance of wearing pants through that.
That's a must-watch it video.
That is a must-watch.
I will link.
Let's link it, yeah.
I will link it, yeah.
Because I've GM'd a few times, and the only other problem that I've had before Rick's whole debacle was a paranoia game that never got off the ground. I ran it at a liberal arts college. That's your first red flag. And I have a talk with all my players before games and just go, okay, here's where you tell me things that you don't want me to write into the game, and I will not ask why. And it's usually things like, can we not molest children? Yes, we cannot do that. Can we not have, like, gratuitous rape? Yes, we cannot have gratuitous rape. It's things like that. Usually they're very reasonable and very skippable and all very obvious things. But this shit produces, like, a list of 20 of her, air quotes, triggers. And I'm looking at this and I'm going, you know this is a paranoia game, right? Yeah? You know the whole point is be completely untrustworthy and to doubt everything that comes out of everyone's mouths all the time. I think that your list of 20 triggers is going to have to go elsewhere. Alright, seriously, these two are the only problems I've ever had, and currently I've run two role-playing as Magic, I ran something else, I don't remember what it was, Paranoia game that never got off the ground, and I'm currently writing, not running, just writing, because I'm good with concepts, not mechanics, a new World of Darkness game based off of Warehouse 13, which is the only not shit thing that Sci-Fi put out.
You mean Siffy?
Siffy. Now it's Siffy. Siffy with ice spiders and Sharknado and Lavalantula and all that.
What the fuck is Lava Land?
Wait, have you not?
It's even more puzzling.
Don't forget the free-headed shark.
Oh, that's right.
What the fuck is Lava Lantula?
It's exactly what it sounds like.
I don't like that. That makes me
yeah, that's not surprising.
Exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah, no, that makes me more uncomfortable than normal antulas.
I think Ice Spiders was better personally, but you know that's just me.
That sounds even worse to me.
But yeah, it was shitty as hell, but it didn't stop me and my sister from making popcorn and watching the premiere going, ice spiders!
No, I feel like I would die watching that.
No, we didn't, but a bunch of really, like, schlocky D-list actors did.
Oh, God.
But yeah, that's been my experience. All these guys are in the, we call it Were Hunt. And everyone who's in it is here, yes?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yes? Alright, yes. Also go watch Warehouse 13, it is on Netflix.
Yeah. Well, the first 3 seasons
First
are.
3 seasons. The 4th one, I don't know. Maybe your friend the internet will know where to find it.
Yep.
Anyway.
I ask my friend the internet lots of questions. He's very
I do too. He's a nice friend.
I call my friend the internet Google. I call him Google.
I call him Greggle.
Craggle.
Yeah.
Alright, so I think Scott's the last one.
Yeah, Scott is the last one.
Take us
We
away,
talk
Scott.
a lot.
Yeah, this
The
is
podcast.
just a heads up. This is probably getting thrown into 2 parts because we've gone on an hour since we stopped talking about Gravity Falls.
Yeah.
It's been a fun discussion.
I don't care. I'm rolling over my Gatsby who won't stop licking me.
Scott?
He's a dog, not a person. I just
All right.
Yeah, that should be specified.
Alright. Well, let's see. I know everyone wants to hear about Joe Booty, but as my crowning achievement for a silly character, but I still want to talk about like a few bits and pieces about the Steve Everyman campaign.
Oh man, fucking Changlang.
Yeah, Changeling. So Changeling's like the second game I'm in. Dice was the first one I made Joe Booty, but this game I was it's like I pretty much me and TG's characters and then the first thing we try to do is just figure out how we're gonna scam money off each other. It was great. Yeah. But I'm a changeling. I was paid to do this, and then I get paid this. I think you would put it as a gem the size of a baseball or something.
Yeah,
like
baseball-sized ruby.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Leo's testicle.
Ugh, God.
And so Michael Shortswan, which is the name of Teach's character, is like, I'm going to steal that. I'm going to steal that ruby. I'm going to scam it off him. I know
Oh
some
yeah, I
people-
remember this convention contest.
So like my plan was I'm like a shady lawyer type. So I know like the guys who run all the pawn shops and stuff. So I'm like, yeah, let's take it to a pawn shop. My guy can tell you if it's real or not and how much it's worth. So we go there and like I like secretly tell the guy running the pawn shop, I'm like, I know it's real. Just tell him it's fake. Pay him a little bit. We'll split the profits. And so the guy's like, yeah, we can do that. And then Scott can tell you what happened after that.
Anyway, the guy tells me it's fake, but the guy I got it from is Zoleo, who can bake this shit out of thin air. So I know. So I'm
gold for all you know.
So I know it's probably not fake. It's real. So then I just call him up and go, hey, I've been told this gem is fake. Fake? Can you make me a real one? He's like, it's not fake, it's real. I'm like, oh, well, this pawn shop guy says it's fake.
And at this point, I like force him to hang up the phone, and I'm like, it's real. He must have been mistaken. It's real. It was magical.
The other magical moment is getting a car chucked at both I'm sorry. A Promethean picked up a car TG's character was in and chucked it at me. Called Andy. It was so many hilarious moments. Then I have like a shit ton of acrobatics. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna do backflips over the car. Then I fail the roll, so I get hit by the car anyway. It was great. It was rather hilarious. But, and I guess apparently, and as Treebeard talked about in his Treebeard logs, the header reacting to the Big Mouse Dilly Bass for some reason. It was great.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You weren't even there for that one.
But Calvin was in this game, and he told me about Calvin and Heather were in this game initially, and they told me about this. I'm like, oh, that's hilarious. Anyway, that's fun times in Changeling. Now on to the crowning achievement that is my character creation of Joe Booty. Where do I begin with this? So I was like, I'm gonna make the craziest fucking character I can think of. So I'm like, you know what? He's a mortician that thinks he's a pirate, and that's how it began.
Began so simply.
So simply, but then.
And then it snowballed.
Yeah, then I'm like, okay, then I had to come up with how he died. I'm like, okay, he died in like a surgery or something. He's a doctor, so he probably I got killed by like a disease or something. I'm like, this is like, okay. Then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to add the ability to have change his gender at will. Just a thing he does for no reason.
Just a thing.
Then I'm looking through this, I'm like, oh my god, I can make... So I'm like, okay, he's a transsexual pirate mortician. Then I look at the thing, I'm like, oh my god, I can make him a midget. Let's add that.
At this point, because we're all in a Skype call together, I go, oh my god, Scott, if you also make your character a midget, I will literally not be able to play this game because I'll be laughing too much constantly.
That's why Joe Booty's the best.
I should have went through with it anyway.
Yeah, you should have.
I should mention that Joe is only spelt J-O just to add to the ambiguity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, I give TJ a consolation. I'm like, fine, I don't want him laughing all the goddamn time. But I'll still be crazy and have him do stupid things, despite the fact that he's actually smart. Anyway. Then this isn't even the best. That's one of the aspects. The other thing is I decided to roll along with the pirate thing to the farthest fucking extent I possibly can. So Joe Booty gets a boat. Then he uses mechanical engineering to make it a car that also functions as a boat. And thus the boat car was created. And it also functions as a float. In fact, and he has a pirate crew of liberal arts students.
I mean,
That's right, a bunch of liberal arts students that he
it's...
picked up in Santa Ana.
Yes.
Yeah. So he's fucked from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
No, but they like him because they're all social justice warriors, and they think he's actually, and they follow him because he's a transsexual pirate mortician, and they know he is.
Joe Booty is so progressive, except when he isn't.
Yeah, he changes his gender at will. He is a gender fluid pirate transsexual. Which that sort of came as a result. Then down the line, he passes through the river that makes you forget a thing, where he forgot his original gender, which wasn't really that big of a deal anyway, because he changed gender all the goddamn time. But he didn't know he forgot. This didn't come up until we met Hades, and not actual Hercules Hades, but a guy who thought he was Hercules, John West, Adam, whatever.
James Woods Hades.
James Woods Hades.
Okay, it wasn't the actual god of the underworld Hades. This was a dude that thought he was James Woods Hades, and actually kind of turned into him.
Yeah, so then he's like, oh, wait, what's your gender? Then apparently then Joe Booty's gender came up, I forgot how it was, then he's like, oh my god, that's what I forgot. God damn it. I want what my original gender is back, because this guy was trying to make a deal he saw with us. I'm like, I'll do it, just get me what I forgot, and we're good to go. Okay? And then he's like, no, I don't want to do that. Then we just started an argument over this for 2 or 3 hours while I think who other else is there trying to steal from his vault for an important item we need for whatever.
No, I'm the one who snuck into the vault. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
you do a lot of sneaking, TG.
I do. I'm a very sneaky character. I like playing sneaky characters.
Yeah.
Rogue for life, bitch.
Merriam-Webster was fucking tiny, so that I could sneak around shit.
Was this
and,
one
like,
also a
dive
Lalafell
through.
kid?
No, she was just a really short girl. She was like 4'6" or something.
Okay. Oh, it's like my mom's height.
Is that your mom's height?
She's like
Wow.
4'10", so a little taller. But anyways.
Yeah. Man, I could just then as Greg mentioned the steak thing because of wackiness. The funny thing is, it started off so well. I'm like, okay, I go to the roof, I meet the fiddler on the roof, then there's all these ghosts around, and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna pass them on. Then I just get spectacular success, and all the ghosts are passed away, and then these characters like, oh my god, this guy's kinda cool. Until I threw steaks at a vampire. Then he just started to hate me. Yeah.
No, that's not why I
It
started.
was a magical
hating you.
moment.
No, the reason I started hating you was because when we were first meeting everyone, I was on the roof, you came up to the roof, and then Duster's character
Oh
came
right,
up
I
to the roof.
convinced people
Yeah,
that
you convinced Duster's character that I didn't actually
That's
exist.
right. I forgot about that.
And so I was just like, what? No! Why would you do this? There's no reason to do this to me.
Well, Duster's character was insane anyway, so it turned out she didn't really care either way.
Yeah, that's true. God, yeah, that... We eventually started getting along, I guess.
Yeah, we kind of did. Then Joe Bruce's Geist is like this mute, Roman guy with like a tiger fang sticking out of
He
his
was like
neck.
he was an early Christian that was executed in the arena by being eaten by a lion.
So he was a mute, so he just pantomimed everything to Joe Booty. And Joe Booty just was whacking, would just randomly start dancing with him for no reason. Have a good time.
So
He was
weird.
pretty okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then there's a part where we all joined a rock band and partied with the moshing monks.
Moshing monks, yeah. Of San Juan Capistrano.
I
Yeah.
believe you guys cited this as like the most epic and difficult thing that you've ever done in any of my games.
It was the hardest boss fight ever.
Yeah, it kind of was.
But Metalachi was there.
God.
No, they were playing the background music. We actually had to play the main thing and sing. Which there's an ominous Jesus statue just kind of staring
Yeah,
at us. Like,
every time we failed our roles, pretty much, Treebeard was just like, you're trying to play, but man, Jesus is just staring at you.
Jesus is
It's really
passing
weird.
judgment.
anyway, I could go
Jesus,
on.
Saul, you're gonna have to do better than that if you're gonna play in my church.
It was great.
Anyway, I guess the other crowning achievement is when we finally confront Otis Bogart.
Oh god, that was an epic battle. That was like our only real, battle.
No, we all thought we were gonna lose.
Yeah, no, that was what made it such a good final battle, because there was an actual chance we would lose. There was a very good chance we would lose.
That one and the Asmodeus fight, both of them. Actually, the fucking final fight in Geist was also pretty.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah, I
forgot
remember
about
that.
the
That was a
Geist
pretty
fight.
because you guys
battle.
got fucking chopped in half.
Actually, two of us
Yeah.
actually did die, but then it was close to midnight, so they revived like 15 minutes later.
Yeah, two people died and then came back. I charged in with my shit that made me immune to fire and just straight up took a shot. That was rad. That was a fucking awesome fight.
Other amusing things was Hell sending texts calling
Oh
us.
yeah. Hell is sending me text messages.
Dude, the funny thing is, the text messages sound like people we actually met in Hell talking to us.
Yeah, it was weird. That was weird. That was a weird moment, Treebeard.
And then everyone's favorite character, Vinny.
Oh,
Vinny
Vinny.
the cat, Vinny the ferryman.
Vinny the ghost.
Yes.
Vinny the Cabbie ferryman.
Mhm.
So in the underworld, there are rivers in the underworld, and to cross some of these rivers, you can pay a ferryman to carry you across. One of these ferrymen was Vinny, a skeletal taxi driver.
We decided to pay
he
him
was
in
not spooky
milkshakes.
nor scary. He was just really nice.
He's like, he just wanted a drink that wasn't chocolate.
Yeah, all he wanted was a drink that wasn't chocolate flavored. So if you brought him like a strawberry milkshake, he'd take you across. And Vinny had like, I think he is among like this group's favorite characters that I've been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's like whenever we went together, we're like, we got a milkshake for Vinny because he's our best friend. So we always bought him a milkshake whether we needed it to cross the river or not.
Yeah, there were one or two times where we didn't even have to cross, and we gave him something anyways.
Yeah, Vinny's a cool guy. He's a fucking skeleton that wore like a Hawaiian shirt and sunglasses and a straw hat.
He was our
talking
guide.
a vague Brooklyn accent.
He was our guide to the underworld. Well, we didn't know where something was in the underworld. I'd like call him.
Went to Vinny, yeah.
Went to Vinny, or I'd call him on my hell phone.
My hell phone.
Oh yeah, Scott bought a phone that was made of souls.
Yep.
It's just so I wanted a goddamn phone that worked in the underworld. And then, so I got my wish, and it was a Nokia brick.
Yep, because items that you find in the underworld tend to be old.
Another funny moment was trying to get into the Tower of Knowledge or whatever, but you had to come up with something new for the lions.
Yeah, that's right. The price to enter the Athenium is that you have to give them a new bit of knowledge. It's kind of like the Wan Shi Tong Library in Avatar.
Well, the two of the people.
What did Joe Booty give?
I did philosophy.
Oh, okay.
I was the only one in the party who wasn't a composer because Calvin was
Calvin was a musician and I was a musician, so like I think we both like wrote unique music sheets or something, or like performed a unique piece of music.
So, and then they got then the lines were resolved, and they go, Juby go, what's that? What's your entrance item? It's like, hold on, I'm just gonna come up with a new idea right now. So that it's just vaguely bullshits, and it's almost acceptable, and it's barely acceptable, but it is, and he gets.
It's just like staring at you, like, fine.
Anyway, I've gone on long enough. Anyway, Joe Booty.
Joe Booty.
Yeah, that was magical. So that's
we have regaled you with our tales from our tabletop experiences, which connects to this Gravity Falls episode, which was about tabletop RPGs.